I'm the Globglogabgalab. I love books.
I am the Globglogabgalab? Ha! More like we're the Globglogabgalab. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Meme Theory, a show about theories and memes. But today we aren't just looking at any old meme. Oh no! This is a unique kind of video.
I am the Globglogabgalab, the schwabble double wabble gabble flibber blah blah blah.
Yeah, not exactly the kind of Pixar quality animation we're used to this day and age. This animation is just so different and weird than any other meme we've ever seen before. Or is it? Now, hear me out here as I explain to you why the Globglogabgalab is actually our old pal, Loaf Bloke. Now, who is Loaf Bloke, you ask? Have I gotten that old? Well, for those of you who don't know, Loaf Bloke was a popular meme back in the early 2010s that featured this beautiful bread boy. But then, like all memes, he just ceased to exist as the masses moved on. That is, until now. So, evidence number 1, appearance. Let's just get the obvious observations out of the way here. Looking at the Loaf Bloke and then looking at the Globglogabgalab, you can clearly see a similar body structure. Just maybe the Globglogabgalab is a bit older. Slightly larger version of our old loaf friend. But this is just the beginning. Look at his eyes. The eyes of both Loaf Bloke and the Globglogabgalab are nearly identical. But something maybe even more eye-catching than the eyes of these two memes are the shapes of their heads. First, take a look at Loaf Bloke. Now, look over at the Globglogabgalab. Notice anything? While the head of the Globglogabgalab may be slightly different from years of jumping into books, the same main shape is still there. Okay, so great. The Globglogabgalab and the Loaf Bloke look alike. So what? This could just be a coincidence. What evidence could there be to suggest that the Loaf Bloke is actually the Globglogabgalab? Well, if you take a look at the lore of the Globglogabgalab, and yes, there is a lore, you will find some very interesting things. First, in the animated film that the Globglogabgalab is from, Straczynski, one of the characters explains that the Globglogabgalab was once
a beautiful forest elf lovingly created by the great Elohim. But he decided to make his own way, and in doing so ended up discovering some magic books. He lost his slender form and became what he is now. Big and fat and slow.
So if we're saying that he was once a much smaller form, then who's to say that the Globglogabgalab couldn't have once been this tiny loaf before he became bloated? Also, the Globglogabgalab is shown to have the ability of changing shapes, so he could easily change into the shape of a loaf if he wanted to. But that's not all. If we look at the movie Straczynski as a whole, it is basically a religious movie that seeks to teach kids about only reading PG books. You know what else was a religious show that tried to teach kids the path of the Bible? That's right, The Donut Man, the show that the original Loaf Bloke was from.
If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old is passed away. Behold, the new is come. 2 Corinthians 5:17.
So now we have a little more evidence, but we still need something that really closes the case on this theory. And luckily enough, we have it. And it's given to us directly from the Globglogabgalab himself in his ever so popular song. Now, you may listen to it and think that it's just a load of random sounds. But if we go to the official music video uploaded by Hope Animation themselves, we can see that one of the lines the Globglogabgalab sings is,
I am the yeast of thoughts and minds.
And there it is. He is the yeast. The Globglogabgalab is the yeast, just like Loaf Bloke, a lump of bread. And if you remember back to the memes of Loaf Bloke, quite a few featured the phrase,
Frankly, it's the yeast of my worries.
and there we have it, a little wink and a nod from the Globglogabgalab himself, revealing his true identity. So how did he get from being a little loaf to the Globglogabgalab? Well, Straczynski explains this to us. The Globglogabgalab was once much smaller, like the loaf, and the movie heavily implies that the Globglogabgalab, or as we know him now, the loaf, followed his religion closely like that of the loaf in the Donut Man. But then the loaf, or the Globglogabgalab depending on your denomination, found other books outside of religion and began to read these books, causing the Globglogabgalab to become overweight and slow, thus transforming himself from the loaf we once knew to the Globglogabgalab. But the big question we're still left with is, why? Why did the loaf do this to himself? Was it just because he wanted to read more? Far from it. Listen closely to the Globglogabgalab song and look at the lyrics used in the song. Pretty soon, you'll see words like dad. But why? It's all in the loaf's attempt to become a relevant meme again. Look back over the past few years. What kind of memes have been very popular? Dabbing and the ting goes scrap. The loaf knew this. After he fell out of popularity, he watched the internet memescape and noticed how quickly song memes caught on and how people couldn't stop talking about dabbing. Putting all of this together, the loaf created a nonsense song much like the ting goes skyap, threw in a little dab, and gave himself a humorous appearance to make the meme complete. And finally we have it, the full story. What we once saw as a stupid, comedic nonsense song is actually the sad story of the internet and trying to stay relevant and loved in an age when people love things for a day and then just move on and forget. It's a story that becomes even more relevant to us as we become even more connected. The only difference is, we can't change our shape like the loaf to try to stay relevant. So what will happen once all the Globglogabgalab memes become old and the loaf dies out once again? What form will the almighty loaf take next? Only time will tell. But hey, that's just a theory. A meme theory. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to the
Super Amazing in Card Tournament.
where this week's question for you is, which video will you watch next? Will it be the one on the right or on the left? Or will you completely shake things up and hit subscribe? Choose one now and I'll reveal your answers next time. In the meantime, I have to go brush up on my spaghetti for the next episode. See ya then.